Good afternoon. We're just going to wait a few more minutes, a couple more minutes to have all of our participants have a chance to log on.
Oh, I see Susan is making sure that her sound's on, so I wanted to say something. So hello, everyone.
I am trying to get the captioner so we can have closed captioning on this and get that all set up.
If everybody wants to put in the chat where they're watching us from today, what state or city that you're in, that would be great to know who we're talking to.
All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone from the MTSU Alumni Association. And I just want to wish you all Happy New Year and congratulations to us all. We finished out 2020 and we're still here. So we are excited about the things to come. I'm sure with every new year, just like every new year, you're looking at your goals and deciding what you want to do. And I think 2021 is specifically a year that people are really examining what are we going to be doing? What are we going to do for the present time? What are we going to do to prepare ourselves for the future? We've done a lot of pivoting in the past year, and so I feel like we're actually have that as a blessing that we can now know that we can be flexible and try to be the best that we can to be prepared. And at MTSU, we've done a great job. The administration has done a great job throughout the pandemic. The faculty has been amazing. The students have been incredible. And so people have figured some things out, and we're still figuring some things out. And so we have been in our different departments on campus. We have really been working closely together. And so we are excited to bring you some information today that might help you feel more comfortable with what's going to happen in 2021 and get you really excited about what you want to look for in life. And so we are proud to partner with the College of Graduate Studies and have their pros here to answer all of your questions. And so just please know from the Alumni Association, if you have any questions about anything on campus, trying to find out who people are, who you should talk to, we don't know the answers, but we are great connectors. So we can connect you to the person that you need to. So please feel free to call the alumni office at any time or send us an email and we'll be happy to connect you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Hendricks, who is one of our professionals from the College of Graduate Studies. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Rhonda. What a great introduction. I think like what Rhonda was saying about 2021 being a year of new opportunities, that's one reason why we wanted to partner with the Alumni Association today to talk about the opportunities that graduate school could have for you this new year. And we'll talk about a lot of the practicals. We got questions from many of you as you registered, so we hope to answer those today as well. I'll try not to bore you too much with the PowerPoint that I'm about to do. I think that you'll enjoy it. And if you haven't been on campus for a while, hopefully it'll let you know about some of the new resources that we have for students, new facilities that we have, and what options that you might have going forward as you look at graduate school. So I'm our strategic communications manager here in the College of Graduate Studies. And all that it really means for you today is that if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be giving you my contact information at the end. I'd be glad to do a phone appointment, email. We can set up a Zoom and we can talk about any questions you might have once this is over. I'll let Dawn introduce herself as well, and then we'll go into the presentation.
I just want to welcome you all from the College of Graduate Studies. We're really excited that you're thinking about grad school, and we want to do everything we can to help you to get started and to maybe take away some of that fear. It's always a little scary when you're thinking about going back to school or continuing with school sort of on a different level. But we're really excited to be able to talk to you today. I am the Associate Dean of the College of Graduate Studies. So I am also very happy to talk to you, and my contact information will be at the end of Sarah's presentation as well. But I work to help keep things moving smoothly, and whenever we run into obstacles, I usually am the one who tries to help find the solution to that. So but I can tell you a little bit about grad school and what it's like to apply, because I've been through it. Sarah has been through a master's program. So not only are we here to tell you about the programs, but we've also been graduate students before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will get started here. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go through a brief presentation that'll hopefully reacclimate you to MTSU if you haven't been on campus for a while, or maybe you haven't yet graduated from MTSU. We know that people are tuning in from a variety of different walks of life, and so we'll get you reacclimated to what MTSU has to offer you, specifically graduate school, and then we'll transition to answering some of your questions. So I'm going to get that pulled up. Let's see. All right. Can you see that okay, Dawn? Okay. All right, everybody. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I think the first thing that we wanted to talk about today is just that graduate studies is very much in your reach. So I know oftentimes it can be very daunting to think about graduate school. Several questions that we received from you all, had to do with, can I do this while I'm working full time? How expensive is graduate school? Can I do this while I have a life outside of school? I haven't been in school for a while. How do I, get ready to do this again? I think that one of the biggest things that we would want to say is that it is within your reach. We have a number of programs for a variety of interests. And so finding your right program is very possible. And specifically when you think of MTSU, and I'm sure for many of you being alumni, you remember probably some of your favorite professors or some of your classmates that you've stayed in touch with. We still offer that at the graduate level. There's opportunity to connect with your professors and be mentored in your classes, as well as, kind of move into that next network of peers that can especially be helpful with networking career-wise after you finish graduate school. So a lot of the same opportunities that you experienced when you were here as an undergraduate, we offer those at the graduate level too. When you seek out a graduate program, you're also able to start expanding your opportunities with your career. So as you consider what program might be a good option for you, I would encourage you to look at what positions you might be eligible for as a result of earning that degree at work, or possibly even moving into a new career field. Our degrees are affordable. So most of you in the chat box said that you were in state, specifically most of you being in the Middle Tennessee region. We'll talk more about costs here in a little while, but MTSU is very affordable at the graduate level, one of the most affordable options in the state. And I think you could really make this work, even if you are juggling other life responsibilities. And one last thing is that I would just like to say that you can start a graduate program and just take a course at a time. So if you want to start with one course or two courses and decide if graduate school is the right fit for you, and we would welcome that. Additionally, we have certificate options in a variety of other master's degrees, doctoral degrees, specialists. But we do invite you to just start with one course at a time if that's what you're comfortable with. MTSU offers you the ability to connect. So if you want to be more than just, a number in a classroom or feel like you don't know your professors, we definitely have our professors at MTSU serve as advisors and mentors. So you actually get to interact with them in and out of the classroom. And that applies to you if you're learning online as well. So if you need to connect with your professor in a virtual way, any of our faculty that are teaching online classes are going to be willing to do that with you. Additionally, like I said earlier, you're going to have the opportunity to engage with classmates, whether it be online or in person, in order to form a network and a support system as you go through a graduate program. You did this before, you formed a network of people when you went through undergraduate, and that same concept applies to graduate level as well. We do have a variety of different type of ways to complete a graduate degree. You can take classes on campus, online, or hybrid. I will say, more of our courses are offered online right now due to the pandemic, but we do still have classes that are meeting on campus. So do know that online flexibility, it was around before the pandemic, and we expect to have as many online options or more after the pandemic. You do have the option to do full-time coursework or part-time. So like I said, you can take 1 or 2 classes, or you can take 9 hours and take 3 classes and be a full-time graduate student. It's totally up to you, and we want you to do the thing that makes you the most comfortable. We have a number of choices for you to choose from, 100+ programs at the certificate, master's, specialist, and doctoral levels. And if you're asking yourself right now, what's a certificate at the graduate level, or how do I become a graduate specialist? Dr. McCormick is going to be touching on some of that later, so stay tuned. Obviously, most of you are familiar with our location. You came to school here as an undergraduate. Probably most of you came here in person, actually. So I'm not going to spend too much on this slide, but the main reason we have this here is just to show, our location and to draw home the point that there are a number of ways for you to, be eligible for a variety of jobs in the area within a short commute distance. So Given our location, there's a number of alumni in the Middle Tennessee region for you to stay connected with. So this is a slide that is probably more helpful for people who haven't been on the physical campus in a while. And I would invite you all to come pay us a visit. We actually are in the middle of setting up a self-guided tour. There already is a self-guided tour in place for the university, but we'll have one that is specifically for prospective graduate students. So if you're ever interested in coming to visit, please contact me and I'd be glad to show you how to do that tour or even take you around and show you those places myself. We have a new building that just opened this past fall. It was a $39.6 million building for social work, psychology, criminal justice. And it's a very impressive facility. So if you're studying in any of those areas, you would get to benefit from that new building. We have a really new and nice science building. It just opened a few years ago. A new College of Education within the last 10 years. And our library keeps expanding its resources as well. Everything from a writing center that gives you the support you need as you start writing those research papers again. We have people on campus who are there to help you totally free. It's included in your tuition. And we have all those resources built in to help you be successful and enjoy your time on campus. So this is just a couple of fun facts about what our graduate population looks like. So 26% of our students are first generation and 27% come from underrepresented minorities. We have some of our top programs listed there: nursing, MBA, administration and supervision, professional studies, and you can read the rest. But there could be some other programs out there not on that list that also could be a good fit for you. So as you're navigating your options, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or to a director, and we'd be glad to make sure that you're in the right fit for you. You'll see our support systems there on the side. Many of those are probably the same from when you were here before. Student health services, testing services, of course, our police. But also we have a very active career development center, and campus recreation is a very nice facility that you could use for free as a student. Additionally, we have excellent counseling services at MTSU where you actually get to, work with a counselor if you run into any type of issue, and they're glad to sit down to talk with you in full confidentiality. One last thing that is probably new since most of you were in school here is our Charlie and Hazel Daniels Military and Family Center. That is an excellent resource to any of you who you may be using GI benefits yourself, or if you're a dependent, please know that we do have resources to help get you connected on campus. This will be the last bit of the presentation, and that's just talking about how do you get started. So the first step really on this checklist, and really the main one I would say to pay attention to today, is just to explore your programs. I'm going to show you how to explore programs and show you how to get in touch with people who know more than me about those programs. And we really want to help in that process so that you can see, there's a number of options for you out there as you navigate your graduate school journey. I will send everybody this PowerPoint afterwards so that you can read through the rest of the checklist items and also see how to kind of start your process. But it's very simple, really. The main thing is to start with your end goal in mind. So determining why graduate school might be a good fit for you. And then we'll help you get to where you want to go, and the nitty gritty of applying, that's the easy part. But trying to figure out where you want to start, you can do that too. This is a simplified version of the application process. So I just wanted to show how easy it really is to become a student at MTSU. You start with completing the online application. It probably takes about 15 minutes. Then you submit additional materials. The good thing is, as an MTSU alum, you won't be required to submit a transcript from MTSU. We'll pull that for you. But if you've attended anywhere since MTSU, we would need that as well. Your materials go to the program, then they make their decision, we give you the decision, and then you start. So that's a very simplified version of the process, but it really is the flow of what you would follow to become a student here. Again, so our contact information is there. I'll pull that back up at the end so that you all will have it while you're asking questions. But I am gonna go now to our website. It plays a lot into what we were talking about in the presentation. So this is our main graduate studies website here. I'll say feel free to navigate. My full presentation is actually as a part of this book right here. We have different tabs here that can help you as you navigate the process. But really, as a student looking at your options, I would encourage you to spend most of your time under this tab, the Future Students section. We have actually a portion of our website dedicated to where alumni and current students share their stories about why they chose MTSU, when they graduated, what program they did. And there's a link here to the full story. So I would encourage you to spend some time reading about what impact MTSU has had on other graduate students. We also have a new tab right here, Pets Are Invited. This is something that's been really fun for us to work on lately. Our graduate students have been submitting pictures of their furry friends or not so furry friends and showing us how they've been supported at home by their animals. I'm sure many of you have probably been working at home or, had your animals play a bigger role in your life this year. And that was just something fun that we wanted to do for our current graduate students. We'll move into a little bit more into showing you how to find program pages. So if you're somebody who is exploring your options, you'll go to the academics page and then you would find your degree here. And each one of these degrees links to a website that tells you more about the program. So oftentimes it's hard to know just by looking at the name to know what, a program actually means. So I have one pulled up here. Human Resources Leadership is one of our MPS programs. This is what the program page looks like. So you get a description and everything. Probably the most important piece on this page is the contact here. So normally under the contact information, you'll have either a director or an advisor listed. Feel free to contact this advisor anytime that you have questions about the particular program, and they'd be glad to help answer your questions. But you can also navigate here into a careers tab, course requirements. I'm gonna try, I gotta minimize my screen here for a second. If you go to the requirements here, you can actually click on each of the courses and get a description for the courses that you'd be taking while you're in the program. So that's one of my favorite things as well, so that you can see if you're interested in what you'd be studying as a part of the program. So let's see. The next thing I was going to touch on, I know this is this kind of a big dump here of information on you all at once, but wanted to basically show you how much information our website has. Many of you had asked about how to pay for graduate school. We have a tab here. It basically has everything that you would need to know about paying for graduate school. This link will take you to what does graduate school cost? We have information here about federal financial aid, assistantships, working on campus, our scholarships. I will point out that these two particular programs, Academic Common Market and Regional Scholars, these are for our out-of-state students. So I know somebody said they were watching from Atlanta today. We had a few others tune in from out of state. You can look at those programs to see if you might be eligible. Aid from other sources is super helpful. You can see about fee waivers and tuition reimbursement and military benefits and several other options here as well. One really well-kept secret is the fee installment plan also that MTSU offers. And that's a way to break up the cost of tuition into several different payments to make it more affordable so that you're not paying all of your tuition on the front end. But yeah, feel free to navigate these sites out. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or Dr. McCormick or anyone in our office, and we can walk you through the process. I've talked long enough. I'm sure I am definitely tired of hearing myself talk. So I'm going to pass the microphone over to Dawn, and I'll still be here if anybody has questions.
So I wanted to take a few of the questions that were asked and maybe expand upon them that we got as you were registering. And I'm going to kind of walk through in the best order that I can to try to address these. We had some questions on whether this would be undergrads, but whether you should take a gap year before you go into a graduate program. And that's a question that I think has been around since graduate school has existed. And I think it really depends. It varies by person and it varies by program as to whether that's a good idea or not. And also based on sort of what your ultimate goals are. I would say right now with the pandemic, some undergrads are finding difficulties with the job market and things like that. And in that case, it might be a good idea to go ahead and go into grad school. Also, if you are doing a very specific program like chemistry or something like that, where you might be taking the knowledge that you have as being an undergrad and transferring it into your grad degree. And it's something that after a year or two, you might be a little fuzzy on. It might be a good idea to go ahead and continue while you still have those things fresh in your mind. And while you're still got that sort of discipline of being a student, that can be a benefit as well. For other people, taking a gap year might be a good idea. In some professions, starting off with a master's degree makes it difficult to get a job because they would have to pay you more and you don't have the experience behind that. So those are the types of things that you can talk to program directors about. Those program directors and advisors that Sarah showed you where to find them on the websites. Those are good things to ask them, with the experience that they have in the field and with their students. Is having a gap year or working a little while first a good idea or not? Those are really good questions, but they're very much discipline specific. So I can't just give you one answer, unfortunately. We also had questions about how is graduate school different from undergraduate school? And I'd also like to say how a master's degree is different from a doctoral degree. So when you're an undergraduate, you take a lot of courses, you take general education courses, you have certain requirements that sort of require you to expand on your knowledge and to get well-rounded. In grad school, it's much more pinpointed. So you're going to be much more discipline specific. Your courses are going to mostly relate to that discipline and various aspects of that discipline. You're basically becoming more of an expert in that field. And so the expectation is that you're coming in with some knowledge, and that might be from your undergraduate, it might be from your work experience. It could be from a variety of aspects. And you're taking that and you're fine tuning it into sort of an expanded knowledge in this specific field. So professors do expect you to, you shouldn't be having your freshman party year or anything like that. That should be behind you. And people in our graduate courses, they vary in age widely from people in their 20s to people in their 80s in some disciplines and everything in between. It's an environment where people flourish at various stages of their life and bring things and contribute to the classroom from their different perspectives, which is just wonderful. But the professors do expect that you're going to be an adult and that you're going to be serious about what you're doing because you've indicated that you're someone who's already educated, but you're just wanting to get more specialized. And then if you're going from a master's to a PhD program or undergrad to a PhD program, PhD programs or EDS programs are for people who are either their discipline requires them to have a PhD to sort of increase in level, or they want to be academics. So they want to be professors or something similar to that. So in that case, you're actually becoming an expert in that field. So those are some of the differences that we have. Now, MTSU, just like when you were an undergrad here, it is a place where the professors are very in tune with the students. They want to help the students. They're very concerned about your success and that you're going to be able to meet your goals and things like that. And I think that that's something that you don't always find in graduate schools. I think it's something that makes us different. In a lot of graduate schools where they're heavily research focused, we have research here too, but when that's the primary focus of the institution, a lot of times graduate students are just numbers, and we aren't like that here. Like our professors connect with the students, are concerned about them, know about their families and their pets and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's something that's important. And I think it makes us more open to a wide variety of students with a wide variety of interests and goals. So when we talk about, you know, what's some advice for being a successful graduate student? I mean, I think the primary thing is to get to know your professors and get to know the directors of your program, because they're going to be people who, if you get stuck on something or you're having a problem or something happens in your, you know, outside of your academic life, they're going to be the ones who are going to step in and help you through that. And I think that at MTSU, you'll find that that's a very strong thing. And I think it's one of our strengths. I think it's really great. I came here to MTSU as a professor in the history department from an Ivy League school. And it was nothing like that there. I mean, you either sank or you swam, and they were happy to replace you if you sank. And that's just not the kind of atmosphere and environment we have here. And that's one of the reasons why I really love MTSU so much. So we already talked a little bit about degree types and different options. So one of the options we have is non-degree seeking. So if you wanted to come in and just take a course or two to try things out, you can come in as a non-degree seeking student. Non-degree seeking students cannot get financial aid. So that is something to keep in mind if you are seeking financial aid. It's a really good way to maybe try some things out, or if you have a variety of interests, to try to figure out where you want to land, or just to take a couple of courses. There are some courses, like courses in the business college, where you would have to have permission to take them if you were non-degree seeking. There are others that are more open. But if you're interested in taking a course, I would advise you to contact the director of the program where that course is, so whatever that department is, and talk to them about whether it's possible for you to take that course, and then go through the process of being admitted as a non-degree seeking student, or find an alternative course. And if you need help with that, Sarah can certainly help you find your way through that. We have certificate programs, which are usually around 12 hours, 12 to 15 hours. And we have a new very popular certificate in data sciences. We have a certificate coming online in the summer, which deals with online sort of pedagogy in K through 12. It's meant for teachers who have found themselves teaching online and would like some extra instruction on sort of how to be most successful in that. So we have some things like that. We're going to have more certificates coming online in the future as well. So those are there, and they're shorter lasting programs. Master's degrees are probably our most popular degrees, and the ones that we have the most widespread offering in. And master's degrees are usually between 30, 36 hours, somewhere around that. There are some that are more, and they're more specialized, but that's roughly, so that means that you're taking about 10 courses, 10, 11, 12 courses in order to get through those. Some of them have thesis options, some of them have non-thesis options, or you can choose either one. So with a thesis, that's like a really long research paper, maybe like 100 pages or so, where you're doing research and that kind of thing. And then the non-thesis, usually they have some kind of culminating thing, maybe exams or some sort of project, short-term project that you do to kind of bring everything together when you finish the program. Specialist degrees are your EDS degrees. So EDS is sort of between a master's and a PhD, although some of our EDS programs are shorter. They're around 30 hours, but you have to have a master's degree before you enter them. And then our professional counseling is like 60 hours and you don't need a master's degree. So those are really variable currently at our institution. And then the next degree is a doctoral degree, which is a PhD or an EDD. And again, those are going to be for people who need that to advance their careers or are planning on becoming academics. And that's where you go through your coursework and then you write like a really long, almost like a book, right, dissertation. And so that's a very intensive project. And usually those programs are 60 hours or so. And an hour, credit hours works just like it did when you were an undergraduate. It's usually 3 credit hours to a course, although sometimes they vary. I wanted to explain a little bit too, because we're called the College of Graduate Studies. But what we do is we basically work with students to apply, to persist through their programs and to graduate. The programs themselves are actually housed in our academic colleges. And so sometimes people get really confused about that. But if you're just getting started and you're applying, then we're the people who are going to be working with you probably the most. And then but you should contact your program director. I always advise that people contact the program director before you apply. Talk to them, talk about your goals, talk about what you want to do. Make sure it's going to be a good fit for you before you go through all the trouble to apply, because you do have to get transcripts and things. If you're an MTSU student and you've only been at MTSU, you don't need transcripts because we just pull them for you. But if you've had any other college experience outside of MTSU, you'll have to get those transcripts to us. And they'll have to be from that institution directly, so they're official. Let's see. Okay, so when you start to apply, you will need to contact the director or the coordinator of the program and talk to them. That's the thing I would suggest to do first, as I said before. For some programs, you'll need recommendation letters. And a lot of times people are really uncertain about what they should do about recommendation letters, especially if they've been out of school for a long time. So if you're a chemistry undergrad and you're going into a chemistry graduate program, then you want to get your professors, your current professors, or your just recent professors to write those letters for you. If you've been out of school for a while, you may not have contact with any of your professors from before. So you can talk to your director, your program director about that. But a lot of times what we would want to see is like a letter from someone maybe you work for or someone who knows you really well, not a family member, who can say this person is going to be successful in your program, and be able to back that up with maybe some examples. I mean, that's what we're really looking for. Don't let that hang you up and prevent you from applying, because it's really people, when we have programs where we have a lot of people who come out of their professional careers and haven't been in school for a while, the programs know that, right? And they're used to seeing that. So don't let that hold you back. And the other thing that most people have to have is a statement of purpose. And so a statement of purpose should tell the program a little bit about you, and why you want to do their program and why it's a good fit for you. And that should be done in about a page to a page and a quarter. Now, there are some programs which require more, and they'll tell you that in their instructions. But for most people, that's really what you're looking at. And those can be really hard to write. I would advise you to think, when you're writing them, to think of yourself as being someone else writing about you. That's how I can do it. So if I feel like I'm writing it from the, about me from someone else's perspective, that helps me actually get started, because I don't know what it is, but trying to write about yourself, I find it really difficult. And so I would suggest doing that, and then maybe having some people look at it. If you're still at a university or you still have contact with professors, maybe have them look it over, and help you to make it as strong as you can, especially if you're attempting to get an assistantship. So, all right, I think that I think I'm done. So I'll turn it back over if we've got some other questions.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dawn. Looks like we have a question about if you take one course each semester, fall and spring. Oh, sorry, our power went out. That was weird. Anyway, so if you take one course each semester, fall and spring, how many years would it take to finish? So Dawn talked about the length of the programs. I'm just assuming if you're talking about a master's degree, most of our master's degrees, with the exception of a few, are 33 to 36 hours. Like I said, there's some that are more, there's not many that are less than 33 hours at the master's level. You can take one course each semester. It'll be a little slower progress for you. I will say a lot of times what students will do is they'll actually start with one course, but then you'll see that you can do more than that a lot of times. So you could start with a course each semester and then maybe add a course after you've done a couple semesters. So it's really just up to you, but and it depends on the length of the program. We do have a lot of people who do fall, spring, and summer too.
Yeah, and I wanted to add too that it depends on the program, but there's different subterms within the spring, summer, and fall. And then we also have a winter term now, which we didn't have a lot of graduate courses, but I would anticipate we probably will have more graduate courses next year. So it could be that you might take a more intensive course, depending on your program, but take one at a time, and then you might actually make it quicker.
Yeah, that's true. It's a little bit different than maybe when you were an undergraduate. We have a lot of courses that meet from August through mid-October, and then they end in October, and then you take the next one from October to start in December. So you don't ever have more than one going on at one time if you are in a program that offers those.
Sarah, I wanted to address the issue of prior learning assessment, PLA. So some of you were asking if you can get credit for things that you've done, in your life. And it is possible. And we've actually got some more intensive policy making going on to make that clear as to how it works. Right now, it's a little bit more case by case. But you can get up to 12 hours depending on the program. Some programs won't allow it at all, but some will allow up to 12 hours. And basically though, you would have to be able to demonstrate to your program that you had achieved the learning outcome. So what is a learning outcome? A learning outcome is sort of the goal of what you learn when you take a class. And those are outlined when a program creates the class. So you would have to line up what your experience was with that exact learning outcome and show that you had met those learning outcomes for that course, and then it would be possible. But it is not as common of a thing as it is an undergraduate. And like I said, some programs will not accept it. Some programs are more than willing to accept it. I mean, they want you to come forward with that, but it just depends on your situation. And so that's something that you would want to discuss with a program director for a program that you're interested in.
I got a question sent to me directly asking about advice for the GRE. We do have many programs that are waiving GRE and GMAT requirements for spring. And while I'm talking about spring, we are still taking applications for spring 21. So if you find a program that you're interested in, or if there's one that you've been wanting to apply for, please go ahead and apply. You can check on the website to see if they're still accepting applications. But all of our 2021 terms are open. So spring, summer, and fall. Most programs if they don't accept in summer, they'll accept for fall. So please be aware that, some will have deadlines that are coming up. I just wanted to mention that real quick. But as far as the GRE goes, we also have a section of our website dedicated to showing what programs are waiving those tests for spring admission. We are still finalizing with programs about that for the fall. So please stay looking at our website, and we'll have those as soon as we can. Dawn, do you have any particular advice about actually preparing for the GRE?
The GRE, it's one of those standardized tests and you can learn how to take it better. And so getting a good, either a good digital or, hard copy book and just going through and just practicing can be really helpful. And that's certainly what I did. So is learning how to take that test, especially since it's timed and that kind of thing is just learning, how it works, and you're going to be taking on a computer. So what does that look like? And that way you're not so caught off guard when you take it. So.
Let's see, I've got another question here. How far in advance must you submit your application for grad school? It really just depends on the program. So if you're looking at a program that accepts applications right up through the start of the semester, then let's say if you're looking at applying for one of our MPS programs right now, that's professional studies, they're still accepting applications. And so you can do that now. And, if you've only gone to MTSU, so you don't even have to send a transcript, there'd be a couple other documents you'd have to provide, but you could probably have the application process done in the next few days. So that is just such a variable type of, answer. It depends on when the deadline is and how many documents are required. So if you are needing to supply a GRE or GMAT, you'd have to prepare longer in advance than one that does not, or if it has less requirements. So let's see.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add for the spring, because of the change in schedule for the spring semester, the classes will start on January 25th. So that means you could technically get in, right up until that point. And you have to register for classes by the 24th to avoid a late fee. But we will, if a program wants to add a student, we'll keep adding them into the census date, which is 2 weeks after that. But obviously it's better to go ahead and apply earlier so that you can have everything worked out. If you're going to get financial aid, that takes time too, because you have to do a FAFSA and you have to go through that process. And some people get flagged and then they have to supply extra information or wait longer. And so doing it earlier is better, but if you really want to start with us in the spring, we'll do what we can to get you in as long as the program is still accepting applications for that term.
Let's see. Looking here, can you take graduate level classes prior to applying or being admitted to graduate school? I'll let Dawn take this one.
All right, so if you are a current undergraduate and you have some extra space in your schedule, you can take up to 12 hours of graduate coursework, and you have to fill out a form and you can mark on there that you want it to go towards graduate credit. Otherwise, it'll count towards your undergrad, which won't help you for grad school later on unless you're just trying to prove to people that you can do grad work, which can be of benefit too. If you were not accepted into a program yet, but you wanted to get started on a couple of classes, again, contact the program director. But you might be able to be admitted as a non-degree seeking student, but you must be admitted in order to take any graduate courses. You must go through the minimal application process, and that is basically just filling out the form, paying the fee, and providing us with any transcripts out of it that are outside of MTSU. And that process can take 24 to 36 hours, and we can have you in for non-degree seeking.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Got a question about a transcript. If you have I'm assuming your a student at MTSU or a past alumni, and if you had already provided us with a community college transcript as an undergraduate, we'll be able to pull any previously submitted transcripts that you supplied as an undergraduate. So that's just to answer that one real quick. Let's see. If a program expects an application to be submitted on a specific date, would it be safe to assume that an application can be submitted to the College of Graduate Studies on that date? A little bit of a, sorry, I'm in an after lunch slumber right now. I'm trying to make sure I understand that one correctly. I would say, submitting, a little bit more in advance beyond just like the exact date they say is always good to do. Because they're probably actually wanting your full packet to be complete, not just the application. Like they probably want your application, the transcripts to be in, if they require a statement of purpose. I would say, to have all of those things complete for sure before, probably a week in advance would be always a safe advice. Dawn, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, so some of our programs, I think probably counseling is probably one of our most intensive processes. They require a lot of things. They also require an interview. Things like music, they require an audition. So, being aware of those kinds of things is really important. So for non-degree seeking, super easy. Yeah, if you get it to us, well, we don't really have a deadline. So you can get that to us anytime. But for a program that has a deadline, I think it's always good to get it in a little bit in advance and then double and triple check that you've got everything in. And if you have an incomplete application, you will be hearing from us. You'll be hearing from Sarah quite a bit because we do check up on you and try to help you remember to get all your things in. But you'll have a checklist within your portal when you're applying, and that's where you can see if you're missing things. And that student portal, so you fill out the application, and then you'll get an email which will tell you how to get into your portal. And that's going to be your source of information for where you stand in the process, and also to help you make sure that you complete everything that you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. The graduate student portal can be found on our main website. And so that's what you'll use to check your progress once you apply. We make it really easy where you can keep checking to see what materials have been received and when the admissions decision has been made. This is a really great question and probably the last one we're going to have time for. Then I'm going to put Dawn and my emails in the chat so that you can contact us. It's also on the website, so feel free to reach out to us. She says, I'm looking to pivot to a new career. Is it harder to be admitted into a program that is totally different from your field of training or undergrad degree? That's a great question. I hate to go with the it varies answer, like we've said a few times. It really does vary though. We'll say if you haven't had some of the prerequisite courses that, let's say if you're looking at a master's program, and they want you to have an undergraduate level course before you start the master's program. We do have a lot of students who find themselves in that situation where they need to take, 3 or 4 undergraduate courses to start the program, or sometimes programs allow for you to take them during your first couple semesters of the graduate program. So what they'll have you do is take the prerequisite course alongside another course that wouldn't necessarily require you to have the background knowledge that you're obtaining in the lower division course. I hope that makes sense, but basically we do have a way for you to start a graduate program if your undergraduate wasn't in that specific area. It just might require you to take some courses before you'd be ready.
Yeah, and then we do have some disciplines where you really do need to have a background. Like I keep picking on chemistry, but that's one where you wouldn't want to completely turn around and not really have any experience and start there. I mean, if you were going to do that, you would probably need to go ahead and get a second undergraduate degree first. We have other programs like the Master of Professional Studies, a Master of Arts and Liberal Arts, which are more open and flexible and would not necessarily require you to do any prereqs. You would learn what you needed to learn during it. The Master of Arts and Liberal Arts program is really flexible, so you pretty much design your program. So we have a lot of different variables. And so if you're in a situation where you're just trying to figure out the right direction for you, I will, as Sarah has invited you, please do contact her and she will help you to go through some of those options and figure out what would be best and kind of what the time frame would be for those.
Well, guys, we're bumping up next to time right now. So I've put Dr. McCormick's and my emails in the chat. And so feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. I'm so glad that all of you were able to participate today. We had some really great questions and would love to continue that conversation with you into the next week. I think my main advice would be to not let your questions go unanswered and to pursue those answers now while you have it on your mind. So please do that. And we hope to be in touch with all of you. And thank you to the Alumni Office for hosting this webinar. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week and a happy new year. Thank you so much.